In today's video, we will be discussing how to write slice of life comics, manga, and webtoons. Slice of life is an incredibly popular genre, especially in Japanese manga, light novels, and anime. You may have heard of popular slice of life series like Bocchi the Rock, Komi Can't Communicate, and Clan Ed. By the end of this video, you will know all about the appeal of slice of life comics, comic tropes in slice of life manga, and how to write your own slice of life stories. But first, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is proudly brought to you by Skillshare. You may know Skillshare for their classes in photography, video editing, and illustration, but did you know that Skillshare has hundreds of career-focused classes too? Growing up, I've always wanted to find an alternative to working a 9-to-5 job. I wanted to live by my own rules, create my own work schedule, and pursue something that gave me fulfillment. If you find yourself in a similar situation, then maybe it is time to reinvent your goals and take control of your career and creative path. Traditional jobs are not one size fits all. Skillshare will teach you how to design a career to fit your interests and passions. This year, I want more financial stability. That is why I am currently taking the class Diversify Your Income, Earn Passive Income. This Skillshare curated course features several industry artists and highlights multiple different paths I can take to better monetize my business. I learned how to effectively run an online store, illustrate for merchandise, and use print-on-demand services. By taking this class, I have begun to figure out how I want to monetize my work in a way that can provide the best value for my audience and make more money in the long run. Without Skillshare, I may not have been able to take this first step. I want you to know that no goal is too small. Thinking about the future can be intimidating. Let me help you take some of the pressure off by starting small. Maybe you want to learn how to be more productive in your day-to-day life. Maybe you want to begin building a personal brand that is able to attract real clients. Skillshare will take us step by step and help us get closer to achieving our goals. So please, take this opportunity to invest in yourself. The first 1,000 people to use my unique link will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you again, Skillshare, for continuing to support the creative community. Now let's get back to today's video. Joining me in today's video is JFMStudios, the author of the ongoing comic series Jeff and Taylor. JFM is also an OG comic creator who has been on this platform for over 10 years. I used to watch JFMStudios on YouTube when I was younger. On screen, you can see 2 fan art illustrations I created for Jeff and Taylor as a kid. JFMStudios is a big inspiration for the MonitorComics YouTube channel, so I am super honored to feature him in today's video.
Hello, my name is JFM. I created JFM Studios. I also created the 2 webcomics, Jeff and Taylor and Malice Mansion. I've been on YouTube since 2008, just promoting myself and just doing vlogs, whatnot, and I've been drawing since I was a kid. I have my own unique style, which I dubbed Tooname. It's like a mix of anime and Western cartoons, and I've been doing this for about 17 years. I started drawing when I was like a kid, I think around 7 years old. When I was a little kid, I would watch the Rugrats. They was like my favorite cartoon shows growing up, and I would draw them, the characters, as stick figures because I wasn't really that good of a drawer back then. But I would draw these characters in different adventures. So I drew Rugrats in a Mario scenario. I drew Rugrats in Star Wars, Rugrats and Pokemon. That's when it started to really take off. When I got into Pokemon, that's when I started to draw more human-like characters. And I created Jeff when I was like 10, and I created Taylor when I was 11. And then it just snowballed from there. More original characters, more original ideas. In fact, when I was in 9th grade, I originally wanted to be an animator. I was like, I want my cartoons to be on the big screen, on the TV, so people can actually watch them. And then it wasn't until I bought a manga called Case Closed. And Case Closed was like one of my favorite animes when I watched it back in 2004. So I'm like, wow, it started as a comic. And I'm like, I wonder if I can do this. Making a comic first and then hoping it'll become a television series or something. But I've noticed when you draw comics, you're in control of everything. And it's a lot easier than animating. So right there, it was the summer of 2004. I decided I'm going to make Jeff and Taylor a comic series. I'm going to lay down the episodes. What kind of scenarios are these boys going to get into? And then it just evolved from there. Webtoons and Tapas, those webcomic sharing sites weren't as big back in 2012 or the early 2010s. So I didn't really thought about uploading Jeff and Taylor on those websites. So I'm like, okay, I might as well code the website. I first learned how to code a website in art college. Nothing fancy because it's just simple HTML. I could design my own graphics, do my own navigation, lay down the map work. I'd say it's worth it. It's nice to have your own website that you're fully in control of. Of course, it doesn't hurt to share your comics on the other popular websites like Webtoons and Tapas. I had my very first convention in Fairbanks, very small town. It's called PopCon. It's something I've always wanted to do ever since I've visited Comic-Con. From 2014 all the way up to now, I've done, I think about a little over 20 conventions where I sold at. And whenever I go there, it's just another day. It's just work. conventions have really helped me come out of my shell and learn to sell my stuff better. You can find me on Instagram, JFMStudios. That's where I post a lot of my newer works. You can find me on Twitter, JFM_studios. And of course, YouTube, which is just JFM Studios. It slowly became this semi-comics / vlog channel. And right now, it's where I stream my art.
Slice of life is a genre of fiction that depicts the mundane experiences in life. It is a narrative technique in which a seemingly arbitrary sequence of events in a character's life is presented, often lacking plot development, conflict, and exposition.
Story that's grounded in reality, that's focusing on the main characters are regular people that you see every day, and they go against everyday problems, whether it be about school life, work life, relationship problems, drama with family, friends. With Jeff and Taylor's adventures, these boys face, everyday problems that teenagers face. Like, oh, will this girl like me? When it comes to Jeff and his crush Jane. With Taylor, with his father, he doesn't see his father. It's just him, his siblings, and mother. His father's still around, but like millions of other kids, his father is just not there. With Jeff's parents, they're also there, but they're, traveling the country, and he's not really that connected emotionally with them.
This can take the form of depicting a character's everyday school life. Think of popular manga series like Lucky Star, Nichijou, and School Rumble. This can also take the form of activities. Think of popular series like Working, Laid Back Camp, and New Game. Put simply, Slice of Life is a narrative that does not have fantastical elements. These stories take place in a recognizable, everyday setting like a high school, a neighborhood, or a workplace. Slice of life stories are often combined with subgenres to help push the story forward. While there may not be high-stakes conflict, subgenres will give you more wiggle room to develop your characters, populate your fictional world, and highlight your story's themes. The main focus of slice of life stories is character relationships. Since your story lacks a life-threatening conflict, it is up to your characters' personalities, actions, and dialogue to carry the story forward. Think of slice of life stories like Wolf Children, Hyoka, and Barakamon. Each of these slice of life series features a main character who grows as a person over the course of the story. Of course, not every slice of life series focuses on character development. Episodic slice of life stories like Honda-kun, Haven't You Heard of Sakamoto, and 1 Week Friends are examples of this. Each episode is self-contained, meaning no progress is made every episode. You could jump in at any point and still be able to figure out what's going on. The purpose of these types of stories is to showcase a character's everyday life and their interactions with the world. Remember, slice of life is a genre of escapist fiction. What this means is the readers come to the story to turn their brains off and enjoy the ride. Romance is a popular subgenre in slice of life manga. Think of series like Komi-san Can't Communicate, Horimiya, and The Pet Girl of Sakuraso. Since these titles are not strictly romance manga, the love plotlines take a backseat to the episodic narrative. Science fiction is another subgenre that can make your slice of life story stand out from the rest. Examples of popular sci-fi slice of life anime include Kokoro Connect, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and Cells at Work. All of these titles use science fiction elements as a setup for the characters' interactions and conversations. Since these stories are not strictly science fiction, the implications of the sci-fi elements and world will not be life-threatening or existential. Comedy is another common subgenre in slice of life stories. Think of series like Grand Blue, Girlfriend, and The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. These stories rely on gags and punchlines to keep the reader engaged. Music is another subgenre that is very popular in slice of life anime, especially idol anime. Think back to series like Love Live, School Idol Club, K-On!, and Bocchi the Rock. All of these titles feature characters who play music and perform. Music brings the characters together and creates an opportunity for them to interact with each other on a regular basis. Finally, fantasy is a more recent subgenre that has started appearing in slice of life media. I know earlier I said slice of life lacks fantastical elements, but stories like I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level, Restaurant to Another World, and My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, make this work. Although these stories have isekai elements and are set in a fantasy world, they often do not feature action or adventure. These stories focus on the day-to-day activities of characters living in this fantasy world.
Yeah, I say Jeff and Taylor is mostly slice of life. I'd say like 60% slice of life, while the rest of the percentage is like supernatural stuff. But still, these boys, they're ordinary people. They go against ordinary things. They're best friends. And the whole series takes place in their 8th grade year, where they meet a whole bunch of interesting people, interesting baddies, and pretty much they go against this underground crime syndicate called Team Starhammer, ruled by incompetent people. Overall, these boys will end up saving their town from this corrupt system, along with some supernatural stuff in the way. The main inspiration for the whole synopsis is Kenan & Kel, if you remember that show from the 90s. But at the same time, I wanted to make a show similar to like Case Closed, with a mystery.
In my previous YouTube video, Kisho Tenketsu, the best plot structure every Japanese mangaka uses, I mentioned slice of life as an example of a story that lacks conflict. What that sentiment means is that conflict is not the main selling point of the story. Sure, there could be some conflict, but it won't be as high stakes, dramatic, or life-changing as more serious stories.
With any show, whether it be for little kids or for adults, I personally want to see some drama between the main characters and whatever they're facing. One of my favorite things in these kid shows was what I call kid drama. Just to, see how these characters react to it, get over it, how they rise to the occasion when stuff goes down, either by talking it out or by using violence if necessary. It all depends. With Jeff and Taylor, how they solve their problems. Usually it's by running away, but they do fight back. And whether it's against a bully or a talking video game station that wants to kill them, there's always a solution to every problem.
It is important to remember that slice of life stories are often straightforward, comfy, and fun. Fans of slice of life gravitate towards it because it helps them forget about their everyday lives. These types of stories tend to be overlooked by a majority of the anime and manga community due to being slow-paced, boring, and meaningless. One of the best things about slice of life manga is it is easily digestible. Readers don't have to think about intricate storylines, complicated power systems, or detailed world building. A problem in slice of life stories could be as simple as someone removing Sakamoto's chair to make him stand during class, or Tenma being too nervous to ask out her crush. It is a common misconception that all slice of life stories are simple or lighthearted. While some slice of life stories focus on lighter subjects, others dive headfirst into more adult themes. Series like Haibane Renmei deal with heavy themes of death and acceptance. Violet Evergarden highlights the struggle of living in peace after returning from war, and Anohana is a series that explores loss, grief, and guilt. Through the day-to-day story structure, these stories are able to make the heaviest of topics more approachable for the casual viewer.
If you can't think of a story or a joke, just think about what happened in your life, I'd say that's a huge influence in my own life, whether it's my characters or my stories. When it comes to my personal life, I do incorporate myself into some of my characters, like Taylor, for example. He's naive, but he's also very compassionate with other people, even with bad guys, If he sees a bully crying in the corner, Taylor will feel very bad for them and hope that they would, change their ways. Just like me, I hate to see other people cry, even if they are a bad person. I generally hope they turn over a new leaf, and change. Blue, of course, she's also a fan favorite character. I incorporate myself into her. I was a sort of a lonely kid growing up. I had self-esteem issues, and that really helped me write her story. Of course, my background wasn't as dramatic as hers, but when it comes to the self-esteem, I put myself into her a lot. And another character that I put myself into is Katie. She is the main character of Malice Mansion. I've been coming up with more ideas other than Jeff and Taylor, like Malice Mansion, which is my horror. And I have one chapter up right now on Tapas. Some of the dark stuff that she thinks about herself, sometimes I think about myself, especially when I'm having a bad day or just comparing myself to others, saying that nothing's going to change. I'm still going to be irrelevant or whatnot, or relationships with friends or exes, how they treat me and Katie, all this dark stuff. It helps create a dialogue for Katie.
To condense these points into a simple list, read slice of life stories before writing one. Take note of how your favorite anime, manga, or light novel depicts everyday life in a way that still keeps you coming back. Put yourself into your character's shoes. Realism is a big focus in most slice of life stories. Readers want to attach themselves to your characters and learn more about them. If you struggle to create three-dimensional characters, try taking inspiration from people that you know in real life, stories that you've consumed, and experiences that you have lived. Focus on your characters. A slice of life does not need to have a gripping conflict or larger-than-life plotline. Your readers are here to see your characters' everyday desires, disappointments, and emotional reactions to what is going on in your story. Think outside of the box. Since slice of life is a straightforward genre, there is a lot of room to branch off and explore different subgenres and concepts. Look at a series like Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. The story is about a group of girls who start an animation club. The setting where the story takes place is colorful, asymmetrical, and imaginative. By pairing this unique setting with fantastical elements that are in the girls' heads, the audience is able to be visually stimulated in this story about day-to-day activities. Sunny Boy is another interesting case study, focusing on a group of high school students who suddenly find themselves transported to a void world. Keep it simple and easy to follow. Most slice of life stories are simple on purpose. Don't overthink it when you are planning out the concept for your slice of life story. At the end of the day, creating interesting characters is a lot more important. Sometimes, readers need a break from comics that have dramatic storylines, flashy superpowers, and convoluted mysteries. With slice of life, you do not need to worry about goal-driven narratives. There are no story arcs that build on one another. This genre captivates readers with its portrayal of traditionally mundane events in an entertaining way. It is familiar in the sense that any reader can identify with it, connect with it, and enjoy it. Slice of life stories are relatable because real life does not have magical elements or bigger than life events. These series are perfect for recharging our batteries after a long day at school or work. It is easier to relate to these characters in these stories because we are able to get to know them on a deeper level and a more personal level. These are stories that reflect us. These are vignettes from stories many of us may have experienced in our own lives. These are works that remind us of our own memories. With that being said, what is next for JFM Studios?
I'm planning a big poster. I'm going to be updating my Jeff and Taylor character poster. I mean, the last one I made was in the summer of 2015. Hopefully I'll finish before the end of the year. And when it comes to episodes, Jeff and Taylor episode 4 remake should come out in a couple months, along with Malice Mansion Chapter 2. That will be out. That's 44 pages long. Of course, the Jeff and Taylor quickies will come back. I just got to think of a nice way to wrap up book 3. If you want to know more, just follow me on my social media at JFMStudios on Instagram, JFM_studios on Twitter, and of course, follow me on YouTube, JFM Studios.
Like I mentioned earlier, I used to watch a lot of JFM Studios YouTube videos when I was first learning how to make comics, manga, and webtoons. I am sure many of my fans have probably stumbled across one of his videos over the years. Is there anything you would like to say to the fans out there and people who have checked out your work?
Thank you very much. You've turned this lonely boy from Alaska into somebody, You make me feel like I have purpose, Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be, popular or wanted to have more friends or people know who I am. And slowly but surely, that's happening. In fact, that is happening right now. It may not happen in town, but it's happening online. And I have followers from all over the country and even from different countries. It's wild. I never would have thought this would happen back when I was a teenager, but it's happening, and I thank you guys. Thank you guys for the fan art. Thank you guys for the discussions with my art, and I thank you guys for your patience,
Hopefully you were able to get some value out of this video. If you did, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below telling us what your favorite slice of life series is. Remember, you can further support me by following me on all of my social media accounts, commissioning me, or scheduling a one-on-one consultation. As always, keep creating, everyone. I will see you all in the next one.